Well, welcome to Pinky's Travel Adventures, episode 14. We've just left Coober Pedy.
Yay!
And
it's too hot.
It was too, but it's 21 degrees this morning.
Yeah, it's cold this morning.
I nearly put a jumper on. I bet a lot of the locals are wearing jumpers.
How funny is that? Yesterday was like 100 and some odd degrees, and this morning it was
39 I got up to.
Yeah. Which is really hot.
Yeah, today we've only got a short trip up to Marla for an overnighter before we get into Northern Territory. So we're going to do a, when we get to Marla, we'll do a wrap up of our South Australian adventures, all the places we've seen.
Yeah, what places we liked and what places we didn't like. And
yeah. So in the meantime, yeah, we'll catch up to you shortly. We're 100 kilometres north of Coober Pedy, heading north towards the Northern Territory border, and we've just entered into a, what do you call, scrubland, I suppose. Instead of the open plains that are typical of Coober Pedy, this has these shrubs or bushes, or they're not quite trees.
What's that?
That's a tree.
It's a tree?
A little one, yeah.
Tree.
Yeah, scrubs and trees. All right, I'll give you that one. And the sun's just come out, and we've recently joined the railway line off to our left, which heads up to Darwin.
I love road trains.
This is our second one for the morning, isn't it? Third?
Yeah, road train.
Third road train for the morning. So we're 70 kilometres south of Marla, and the countryside has opened up again, scrubby, undulating, and pretty boring really. And we're about to be overtaken by a car and a caravan. That's enough.
I'm being nice and
Kimberley
helping.
Cruiser. That's a tall Kimberley.
It is. See, he's saying thank you.
He is saying thank you.
I know.
It's a very tall caravan, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's the Unadilla track on the right. So I think we have to go in there.
Yeah, we do. It says Marla.
Marla. So we're just arriving at Marla for our stay. It's only 11 o'clock in the morning, so it's only a short day today. 202 kilometres to Unadilla.
See, but there had to be a different way to go to Unadilla.
Yeah.
Well, I said that to you and said no.
I said there was 3 ways. Marla's one of them.
So is this it? Must be.
That looks like the caravan park there.
Oh yeah. So you'll have to go into the
What's it say? Fees paid at reception before entering grounds. So that's the grounds there. So we've got to go to reception. So reception must be up at the caravan park, up at the
well, what's
roadhouse.
this here?
apartments.
This here.
What's the door say?
Oh yeah, no, that must be. You know what we'll do? We'll park behind this van over here.
Yep.
You can go for a wee,
Traveller's Rest.
you can go for a
Airpole.
wee walk. Oh, airpole.
Reception. big green sign up here for reception.
Right.
Ah, good spotting.
We'll wait.
Okay.
Just go back that way. Do you want me to? Well, I might as well just go back down that way. It's the road that you can take. It's not the highway. This is what this is for. So you can go even down there.
Well, here we are at Marla, all set up for an overnight stop, and it's 11:45.
Yeah. Flies are a bit bad, but
The flies are, yeah, not too bad.
they're terrible.
They're not.
They are. Bruce is doing the Australian wave every second.
We'll go over and see Bruce Miranda in a sec.
Yes.
But,
But it's a nice place.
it's
Nice
not
place
too
to
bad.
stop.
It's good. So this Marla's at the top of the Udinadatta track, where it meets the Stewart Highway, and it's the last place in South Australia that you can stay.
South Australia.
Tomorrow we hit Northern Territory, and this is our last stop in South Australia. And we've been in South Australia for
Gosh.
4 weeks.
Yeah,
3
four
or
and a
4
half.
weeks, yeah. 4.5 weeks.
4.5 weeks.
4.5 weeks. So let's just recap South Australia. As a recap, most impressionable place that you saw.
Well, we go from left to right, will you?
Oh gosh, I loved Murphy's Haystacks. One, I didn't know about them, and two, they were an absolute surprise and delight. Very windy, but still a beautiful spot. And as far as a town was concerned, and I was really impressed, I think Wallaroo has got a lot of history. They've really embraced it. They've done a lot to keep that reminder in place, in a really pretty tidy caravan park.
I think although we didn't stay at this place, one of the most impressionable places for me from my background of surfing was Cactus Beach. The coastline was very rugged. I have never seen so many flies before in my life. It would be,
Yeah.
I think, a shocking place to stay unless you were well equipped for the flies. But the surf there was absolutely unbelievable. I just wish I had visited there 20 or 30 years ago, so I could have tried the surfing there. And I think my favourite town, like you, what is it?
Wallaroo.
Wallaroo. I mean, it was on the coast. The beach was beautiful. It had a beautiful, safe swimming area that the council provided. The jetty was magnificent, and the town itself was very clean. Great tourist attractions.
Yep.
Excellent cafes and restaurants, and the caravan park was 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. Grass, clean amenities.
Real grass.
Real grass,
Real
clean
grass.
amenities, and the sites were easy to get into. And if you did have trouble, the owner, and it was a private caravan park, he was willing to help reverse the caravan for elderly people. We didn't need that because we're not elderly. But
Did on one occasion.
did on one occasion.
Sort of.
Well, Tracy's the oldest one here.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey! By 1 month. Come on.
All right. So the place that I felt the most impression, or I liked the most, was actually the Painted Desert.
Oh yeah.
I've known about it for many years. Never been able to get there because whatever been going past, we had to get somewhere else, and it's really a long way off the beaten track, off the highway, and it's a long way off the Unadata track as well. So it's in the middle of those two, and it's only 200 kilometres to get to it.
Yeah.
But man, was it awesome! It was just unbelievable, and it was like I could describe it to those people who have seen the Breakaways. It was like 10 times the Breakaways. The colour and the landscape was just stunning. And I also loved the road in. The road in, because it was a four-wheel drive road. It was a the corrugations weren't there, but it was soft sand, rocks, dirt, bull dust. It was all the sorts of road that I love.
Tracey, did you like the road?
No, not really. It was really, really soft in some parts, which was really scary. It was really, really soft.
Who was driving? Make it scary.
Oh, Allister, of course. But that made him feel so much better that he actually had driven on a dirt road, and
a real dirt road.
So he could put it in four-wheel drive and
Really four-wheel drive.
He was really happy.
Was it as good as the road
Best
from
day
Vulcania to?
Different, totally different.
Yeah, okay.
It was, you couldn't go fast. Although in some sections it got up to 80, but other sections, you just did it.
You just couldn't.
You did it at 10 or 15 or 20, but it was just
good
sand.
four-wheel driving.
It was good four-wheel drive road.
Yeah.
There's no way you get in there with a car.
No.
Or no way you'd take a caravan in there.
Yeah, true.
You couldn't. No.
So if anybody's wanting to see the Painted Desert, you really got to see it if you get the opportunity. You've got to drop your van, probably stay the night at Coober Pedy in the caravan park, and then rip out, take that road out to Unadata, turn off that Unadata road, do the Painted Desert, come back, and then come back. So it's a day trip.
How much fuel did you use for the four-wheel drive?
No, not that much.
Not that much, really. Well, we've got 10 litres per 100k according to the metre, which actually, when I filled up, it works out to be 12 litres per 100k. Okay, so Tracey.
Yeah, so me like the guys, I liked Wallaroo too. It was just a beautiful, clean little seaside town, beautiful shops. And it was just warm and friendly. You could go and we had breakfast out, and it was really lovely. And you could walk around and do the heritage walk, and just a lot of heritage there that you can read all about Wallaroo. It was really, really good.
It was really well set out, wasn't it?
Really well set out.
Every 10 metres there was information about what was there.
Yep, and I think is it Elliston that we went?
Oh, yes,
we
drove
through. That was a beautiful beach, and like a really nice caravan park, although we just drove through. But it was a nice sandy beach that you could, like
it's
go
worth
and
a
swim
visit,
at.
actually.
Oh,
Worth
yeah.
a visit
It'd be
again.
nice to stay there.
Yeah.
We didn't get onto Palubi Beach, but because it was just
we
so
didn't.
crowded.
Well, actually, we watched
Another film later
another
on.
film of Palubi Beach,
Who was that?
high tide come
that's
right up
King
to
Tide.
their
King Tide came in.
Tide.
They had to move their caravan at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was reading an article yesterday by the Winding Road, who I follow, and they did the same. They said, don't be fooled about where even those sheds are.
Yes.
If the tide comes up, your caravan will be not underwater, but the wheels will be covered by a tide.
Yeah.
So it couldn't have been much longer, like either before us or after us, because it was so windy.
And they talked about, that's right, they talked about the border just opening and the wind coming up.
Coming up.
So it was about the time
it was about probably a week or two before us.
So they were going to stay over for a couple of nights, but
they cut it short.
I'd love to come back, and I would love to stay on Palubi Beach.
Yeah.
Because I've read so much about it, and just being that close to the water would be, even if it's just for 1 or 2 nights.
And that's the trouble. So many people have seen stories about Palubi Beach.
That's right.
And it's just packed. And I'm afraid, okay, let's get to the best camping spot that we actually stayed at.
Oh, it'd have to be Wallaroo, definitely.
Wallaroo? Anyone else have another opinion?
Yeah, the Wallaroo caravan park was beautiful. I also didn't mind the Point Turton campground. It had been a lot busier there, so their grass had gotten away. from them, but I enjoyed Point Turton as well, and particularly the drive onto Flaherty's
Oh, yeah,
Beach.
that was magnificent.
I think that was probably my favourite beach of the whole trip.
Yeah. Although the water was way out.
Yeah, the water was
if
a
we
long
could
way
pick,
out.
I mean, unfortunately, we couldn't pick our tides when
No,
we were there.
that's
If you could go there on an incoming tide, it would be tremendous.
So where was your best camping area?
Oh, look, apart from Wallaroo, yes, but I also love Point Turton because the jetty there I thought was fantastic.
And the stingrays.
And where you could actually walk, you could walk out into see the stingrays in that little, in that sheltered little bay area, and Flaherty's Beach. I mean, anywhere. I miss the ocean already because I love being near the ocean and salt water. But another place I really enjoyed was Port Augusta.
Oh yes.
And
yes,
walking the foreshore at Port Augusta.
Yeah, it was nice. Wasn't
It was relaxing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel stressed out. It was a nice walk across the bridge. Pixar had possibly the safest swim she's ever had in the Spencer Gulf.
Yeah.
And the sunset from Port Augusta up in that Red Rock area, whatever it's called. That was possibly the best sunset I have seen this time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go against you all, and I reckon the best camp spot that I've had was actually the Haystacks.
Yeah, the Haystacks was
Now,
good.
why I say that is I say, although it was windy, it was what did I say? Unusually windy, which blew a lot of dust up. Except for that, I loved it because it was isolated.
Yeah. We were the only ones there.
The only ones there, no one was there, and we just had the place to ourselves.
Yeah.
And meeting the owner was a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, for us.
Just remarkable. Yeah.
And I loved Wallaroo as well, but the other, for me, the other most exciting thing that happened was I caught a squid.
Oh yeah, the squid man
on my second throw.
The squid man.
And got a lesson in
karate chopping it.
Karate chopping it.
Chopping and gutting the squid.
I tell you what, I wish I had videoed that because while he stood there and talked to us, and I was just sort of trying to get another one, he pulled it apart.
Yes.
He gutted it, skinned it with his bare hands.
He was so knowledgeable. He drove from Adelaide that day to do fishing.
And we saw someone else trying to clean up a squid, and they were going about it the wrong way. So
so he was very, very talented man.
Yeah.
Wish I knew. I mean, he even skinned it.
Yeah, he just kind of whipped his finger around.
There's a lot to learn, isn't there?
There is a lot.
That was amazing. So anything else we need to...
Or Tracey hasn't had?
No. I like that too. It was really good. The stingrays they were beautiful.
They were
just
awesome.
to watch, and
unfortunately it wasn't warm enough for us to have a swim. Was
it? There was some people trying to get in the water, but it was a little bit.
A few families were in there with them, but I mean, I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have gone for a swim there, but it just wasn't.
Well, Flaherty's we went out. Flaherty's was nice. It was shallower and warm.
And that was probably one of the warmer days that we've had too.
Yeah. Plus, unfortunately we've had a lot of that wind off the Antarctic.
Yeah.
And
the chill wind.
Yeah.
Blowing a gale. Like I would imagine Port Lincoln would be beautiful, but the days we were there, we didn't even lift our pop top because it was so
just
windy.
Too windy.
Some of the other towns that we called in on at say morning tea time or at lunchtime were really interesting and could be quite pretty to stay at.
And I had a look at it.
You can't stay everywhere.
I had a look at a map across that way we came back from Ceduna.
Yeah.
There's heaps of things to see there.
Yeah.
And we could, when we come back next year, just take our times and pop in to those places.
One of the things that perhaps we have done wrong, and it's no one's fault, is because we weren't sure about COVID and how busy it was going to be, because I must admit I expected a lot more caravans on the road.
Yeah, true.
Is that maybe next time we don't pre-book.
Yeah.
Because by pre-booking you have to get to a destination.
You're locked into a timetable.
Yeah, where, as you said, along that Ceduna road, after an hour's drive, you could pull in somewhere.
Yeah, that's
there are so many free camps or $10 a night camps. Just spend 2 or 3 months just doing that area. I think it would be good. It's a beautiful coastline. It is rugged. I don't know, apart from the surfing at Cactus, I don't know if I want to swim out there because a lot of things that bite you.
There's a lot of
weeds,
a lot of
seaweed.
knolls out there.
Yeah.
And a lot of memorials to people who
Yes,
have met with
especially
Noah.
at Cactus Beach apparently.
Yeah. A lot
Where
of,
was that beach that we went to that day that, remember we walked around the rock and you and Pixar got stuck on the
Oh
other side?
yes, that was the day we went to Mexican Hat and
Yeah.
Will.
No.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful beach.
That was
it
magnificent.
where
And so you
those
could-
That was a
man and
national
woman-
park, wasn't it? Oh.
No,
No, it was
that
on a private property.
The first half.
That's where
of
that gentleman was fishing. Remember
Yeah.
the cruiser?
The
Yes,
first
yes.
half of the day wasn't national park, but then Mexican Hat was.
So
And you know,
Yeah.
if you say if you did take it slowly on that road, you could get the van down
Yeah.
there, and you
That
could free
was
camp
beautiful,
if you had enough
right?
water. Free
Yeah.
camp for 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
It's. I'd love to come back. There's places I wouldn't want to visit again.
Well,
I mean, what was that? What was that
You
caravan
don't
park, Tracy, that you saw? That was not Port Lincoln, Port down the south where that beautiful beach was.
Yeah, that's
Elliston.
Elliston.
No,
Yeah.
no, the other one. It was called Port. On that day we drove south, and we had the morning tea at that cafe.
Oh, across the
And those people the kids were learning how to windsurf.
across the other side
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Eyre Peninsula.
Yes.
Yeah, they learned how to windsurf
Yes, yeah.
and scuba dive.
Well, that's where didn't you meet someone there?
Was it something Bay?
No, it was a port. We met people from Port Macquarie
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Port Campbell's, no. Anyway, it'll come to me. But
We'll put the words up.
Yeah.
it was.
That was
it
a beautiful beach. That was too.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
Alistair said it'd be a good swimming
And the
beach.
caravan
Yeah.
park really was lovely too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently it's very difficult to get in there.
Yes. Yes. 'cause
So
it's
Tracy, what would
close to Adelaide.
be your worst place we've stayed?
Oh, Fowler's Bay. Oh goodness,
Mm.
that was it was just the amenities were shocking.
Mm.
It's just putting it mildly.
Oh, shocking.
They
I've seen
were. They
worse.
weren't even clean, were they, Miranda?
No, and
Actually,
I
ours were pretty clean.
Yeah.
and I think
Ours
that's
weren't.
something that if you're hitting the road, you cannot be a toilet snob.
No.
Because there are times when we have used some absolute shockers, but we would rather be able to choose.
Well, we're lucky that we have it in the
Differently.
van, and we've often stopped and
There's-
you've done your piece in the
There's been
van.
some putrid long drops, and there's been
Yes.
some very
yes, they
ordinary
had.
bathrooms, and certainly the one.
But that's the
Yes,
worst one
yes.
we've come across.
Yeah.
But majority of
That campsite was all right there.
Very
the
dusty
campsite
and- very
wasn't.
dusty
Yeah,
and
it was
dirty.
dusty. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
It was
especially
windy
where
still,
we were
wasn't
because we were sort of like in the middle, so that meant people had to drive around
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
If we had been next to
So-
the tall fence,
yes,
we would have been
it would have
sheltered.
been different. Yeah.
The day trips. What about yours, Alice? The worst camp place we've been.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah.
Um,
The dunes. You like the dunes? The Gibbon Dunes.
oh yeah. Yeah.
It was windy.
and red cliffs.
Yeah, it was uncomfortable. That's all.
Yeah.
Those places would have been brilliant without the wind.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also, unfortunately, there was a 50th birthday, and where we wanted to camp,
We
Yeah.
wanted to camp was a party going.
there was a
on.
party going on, and it may have gone on
So
for
we
4
moved away
days.
So we had to
to a
push
different
out.
direction.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now,
I
if there was no wind in those places, that
could
would
have
have
been
absolutely
splendid.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah.
if we hadn't booked ahead, we could have stayed there longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think booking ahead. Even Tumby Bay was beautiful as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
And we've learnt the limits of our van, how long we can last on our water, how long our toilet cassette lasts for, all those kinds of things. And we can certainly stay free camping a lot longer
Well,
than
it's
we
interesting though.
thought.
With water, it's Pixar that uses more than us.
She drinks a lot.
She
does
drinks.
drink a
She's
lot.
drinking 6 to 7 litres a day,
Mm.
and that's where all our water's going.
Yeah.
What about you, at Fowler's Bay? I think possibly Fowler's Bay.
And-
That Red
and
Cliff
Red
one,
Cliff.
I enjoyed that, but the wind again was
Mm.
incredibly strong. I think if you were there without any wind,
Yeah, true.
it would be
Yeah.
magnificent.
Mm.
About you, Miranda?
Yeah, I think those two probably come to mind
Yeah.
more than anything. Yeah. We've
Your most
seen-
hairiest drive, Tracy, with Allister Drive, was that through the mud flaps near Fowler's Bay or out to Unadata?
Oh yeah.
The mud flats.
No, going to Unadata. Yes, we at one section we were airborne on the way back because he hit the creek bed fast, but he forgot that over the other side of the creek bed was a little ridge as well. So we sort of like went down and went whoop, up in the air, and off we went.
It came down. Kapoom.
Yep.
Yeah, the car actually.
Yeah, the car actually bounced.
So what's
It was
you were doing
airborne.
110 on those roads?
I was probably doing 100,
Yeah.
probably 105.
Enjoying not
And
having
then
the
the
van.
trouble is, see, some of the whoops are high speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
This
and
one was.
there was you know, there was one section there that was like whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
It's like this,
too.
right? So you could take that at 90 kilometres an hour and you just go,
Plus you have a bit of weight in the back of your car.
yeah, it's,
as
it's,
well.
Still,
it's a
yeah,
heavy
the
vehicle.
bikes,
Yeah.
But every now and then you'd get one and you wouldn't know until you're over the crest.
Mm.
And then you're on the anchors to try and wash off as much speed as you can, and then at the bottom you've got to let the brake off because you can't hit a bump with your brake
With the
on.
brakes on, yeah, you've got
Yeah.
more damage.
And then the car hits this. It must have been a lip like
It was
this,
just like a lip, yeah.
and the car
yeah.
hit it, and up
Stuck
there,
in
boom,
the
boom.
Yeah. But we didn't go that day.
Oh no,
I was actually terrified I broke the front end.
The mud
yeah.
flaps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The mud.
Yeah, I need to
I
have
think
a.
you had that mud flaps that day that we went. And Allister
Came back-
decided
well,
to
coming
go
back
right. This was when we were at Fowler's Bay.
Coming back to Fowler's Bay after a day trip out
Yeah.
to all those other
And he decided to
sites.
go through the middle of it instead of
I
going.
didn't go through the
side.
middle. I
You
went to
did.
the side, but it wasn't side enough.
No, exactly.
You were sideways in the side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sideways.
Luckily
yeah.
Did that
you're.
scare you, did it?
Yeah, because the whole
thought
car
it
was
was
going
fun.
sideways.
Well,
and then
I
it
would
went
enjoy that too.
backwards.
It's when you're
As a
not-
driver though, you know what you're doing.
It's so
That's
different when
right.
you're the driver.
Yeah.
And he just whacked the lock on because the car was going slow, so he put the
Yeah.
lock on so he could control the vehicle.
Well, see, at that stage, because we stopped and did a few photographs, we weren't sure where you were, and the mud flats was expansive, and there was roads.
The roads everywhere, wasn't
then
there? It
Tracey-
was like, pick a route, pick a route.
Tracy radioed through and said, "Don't go through the middle of this." And I said to Miranda, "Through the middle of what?"
And I
Because we
said,
weren't actually sure
and then I said, she
if
said,
we got
stick
stuck
to the,
where
stick
you
to the-
were.
Stick to
Stick to
the
the
edge.
edge. And I said, go right
I knew I had
over there.
my recovery gear, but I thought there was a sign at the beginning of that track. Don't take it if it's wet, and it was bone dry, but the middle was
it
wet.
was
The
dusty.
middle was wet, yeah.
And the big expense is on
Getting a tow job out.
yeah. So we went wide, which,
So,
and even
and then
even
we said, one part we said, oh, stay left. And then we went, oh, hang on, there's two roads. Oh, who
Yeah.
cares? Go over to the right.
yeah, we went left and then right. But no, I did enjoy that the
It's
dirt.
been good. South Australia's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're
We
in
have actually had a good time.
now we're in Marla. We're about to cross the border tomorrow,
Yes.
and we're staying at a roadhouse, and there's a swimming pool, which I'm not sure how warm it will be, but I'm looking
It
forward
might
to.
jump in later.
It's actually starting to warm up here.
Yeah,
It is.
has
We
too.
there is an area that we haven't touched on, and that was the end of New South Wales when we did the little bits around Broken Hill, Silverton,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
and Menindee. And I always wanted to go to Menindee, but my goodness, it is dry.
Dusty.
Aside from the lakes, there are lots of lakes.
Yeah.
Everything's dry and dusty, and the trees look like they're dying.
It's smelly from
And
dead
it's
fish.
smelly from dead
Yeah.
fish, and lots and lots of blowflies and march
Oh,
flies.
the marsh flies.
March flies.
Oh.
Were just absolutely horrendous, and the heat was so oppressive.
Mm.
But that said, I'm glad we went. But
there's
it's
another-
probably a place you don't need to go to again.
Yeah.
Silverton we loved, but I don't think I need to go to Silverton again.
And Broken Hill was lovely
Broken
too.
Hill was good.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really good.
From all accounts, after speaking to those people at Turton,
Point
Point Turton, there was a better caravan
Yeah.
park and a better lake at Menindee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't need to see that better lake at Menindee. I've been there, I've done the road. But it's something, yep, tick that.
Yeah,
been
and it
there,
was
done that.
handy when we were at Collie. We stayed behind the Collie pub. You know,
was
those
interesting.
kinds of places are good. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You see the locals all
I love
arriving.
staying at the pubs.
There was obviously
Yeah.
an event on the Sunday at lunchtime, and all the locals were in at the pub at something. And yeah, you really see how the real outback Australia when you're in those kinds
What-
of towns.
Yeah, staying at that pub was really good,
Yeah, it was
wasn't
great.
it?
Oh, it was
actually?
great. And
yeah.
then the downpour.
And the,
Yeah,
the
and then
storm
we had that
came
big
And I had to run to your
storm.
caravan
to shut the door.
and shut the door because you wouldn't run out there and do it.
No, it was raining.
He told me to do it, and I said, I'm not doing it.
No, that wasn't rain. And,
You
that,
go and shut the door.
and
You shut
chasing
the
that
door.
chasing that rain cloud today,
Yeah, that was funny.
and then we finally caught the
Where
wet
it be.
road.
Yeah.
And you did what I did. I put over to the left and tried to
Yeah.
wash under the car and
Yeah,
under the
that's
tire.
Spray
what I
up.
did,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spray
But no,
wash the
it's
wheel up.
been great. But I think, as I said before, booking ahead is good, but it's bad in another way too.
Yeah.
It makes you rush to do things.
Yeah, it does.
But
And
we
we've
were
met,
stuck at a time.
yeah, and we've also met some really lovely people.
Yes,
Haven't
yeah.
we?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I haven't come
absolutely.
across anybody. Well, there was only one chap that was a bit cranky last night, but
Yeah.
other than that, we've had some really nice people we've come
Yeah.
across.
And
And they're always willing to help and say,
Yeah,
go
always
here,
willing
go
to
Yeah,
there.
when you're travelling in opposite
Yeah.
directions too, we're able to share something we've experienced,
Yep.
and they've shared something they've experienced, and that part of it's all really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been really
No,
good.
it's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And we've been very lucky with the weather. It's Coober Pedy was very, very hot. I mean, it's the only caravan park I've ever been to that has shade for your car and caravan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we are very thankful for.
Yeah,
Oh,
and we've
yeah.
also stayed where we can have power because we've really needed the air
The air
conditioning.
conditioning.
Oh,
It's
you
been
really
a
need
pro
it
kick.
there.
Six are suffering.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a hot fortnight.
What
I
I
think.
what I have actually found interesting over especially being up north, is she goes to the door to the caravan and wants to go in because she knows it's cooler. But yeah, I
No,
mean,
she's been really good,
she's
hasn't
been
she?
good.
Yeah.
So,
It's just we're just drinking.
so tomorrow we're over the border.
So
Yes,
that's goodbye South Australia.
Goodbye, South
Bye,
Australia.
South Australia. And bye
Hello
everyone.
Northern Territory.
Bye,
Bye.
doing great.
So that's the end of episode 14.
Yes.
And
Wow.
Yeah.
end of episode 14, yeah.
Mm.
How you doing? Well?
Where's the girl?
Down there where the water is.
She's playing with the water bottles. Leave those water bottles alone. You're on rations. Yeah, you have to click it down because it does fire.
Don't tell me what to do. Put that in your video as well.
Now you all need to speak with a loud voice, not whisper. Okay, not whisper.
Since when have we not got loud
So
voices?
you have to speak. You have to speak like you're talking to someone over there in the paddock.
So you're obviously editing that part out.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Keep
We're
it.
the no. We're the oh gosh.
Broken Hill.
The haystacks.
No. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it.
Don't
Right,
edit
we'll
this.
edit
We're
this
the
bit out.
trippy
Point
van.
turn?
Point turn. Hang on. Okay.
Point
Point
two.
turn,
Let's
yeah.
start.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I really enjoyed.
How you doing? Well, Alistair. I'm enjoying watching them.
So,
And you're also travelling with
No, not in the same car. So there's once or twice, Tracey, you said, "Can I go in our car?"
Yeah, I know. I could have quite easily gone in your car this morning because I told him off. I'd sooner get behind the wheel and he's like, do this, do that. I said, will you stop telling me what to do and put that in your video?
Shove that up wherever it
That was like
fits.
the other day.
That's what I felt like
Well, you
saying.
should have just say it. I would.
That was like the other day when I drove, and Bruce goes, and I started to back, and Bruce goes, "You got a jackknife?" And I said, "This is the first time I have put this vehicle
But the
into
caravan
reverse
was-
with the caravan behind it. Cut me some slack."
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, before we leave tomorrow, this is actually a good place.
To reverse.
To
Up there,
practice.
not here, because there's a couple of trees. But it does take a while. I had that one.
Yeah, I no sooner got behind the wheel and he's like, the windows are down. I haven't even got my seatbelt on yet. I was like, give me a break. Goodness.
you're adjusting your mirrors.
Did not adjust my mirrors until halfway down the road. I was putting my seatbelt on and trying to wind my window up at the same time.
I know your pain.
Folks, it's been very
I know
entertaining.
your pain. I know
man.
your pain.
I haven't
Bruce
said that
fiddles.
to you.
Bruce fidgets while
So
I'm
does
driving.
Alistair. What about Alistair? I'm driving like this and he's got his hand coming across my face. I was like, what are you doing?
Just cleaning your glasses for you.
You're right, that's what he was doing.
Miranda's doing a great job when she drives, but she does prefer me driving because I do. I fidget.
Yeah,
And I
does
watch every
Alistair. Yeah.
I watch every dial of
Yeah,
the
so does
car.
he. He leans right over in front of me. What are you looking
Well, the
at?
sun was shining in the mirror in the window, and I couldn't see the gauge.
Why were you looking at the
I wanted
gauges?
to see how
I'm driving.
I wanted to see how far away we were from Coober Pedy.
You could have asked me.
I didn't want to disturb you. You're concentrating on driving.
You didn't want to disturb me, but you want to lean right in front of me.
Well, actually, this trip's been good because Miranda has actually learnt, and she's wanted to learn how to use cruise control.
Oh, right.
Because at 94
In
kilometres
the
per hour,
truck, I have used it before.
yeah, but towing this at
Yeah.
94 kilometres per hour, it's the best economy.
Yeah, mine sits on 2,000 RPM.
Yeah, 95.
Mine's just on 94, 2,000 RPM.
Yeah.
As soon as we come to a slight hill, though, I cancel it, and yeah, I get better economy but I prefer up hills,
control it.
foot throttle.
Yeah, no,
up
we
hills.
just ours just
Leave it.
Yeah, we just leave
You just
ours.
you just leave it in 6th gear and
Yeah.
just
Yeah, well, your van's 4 tonne lighter than mine.
yeah, well not 4 ton, 2 ton, but yeah, but the power of the engine just
You've got a good torque.
just good torque
Yeah.
at 2,000 RPM.
Yeah, as does this, but if I don't go back, it'll change down quickly.
Right.
And it's interesting, this last leg from Port Augusta up to Coober Pedy in here, instead of in sports mode, I've tried it just in drive, and there's hardly any difference in fuel economy or RPM. I'm sitting
Yeah,
on pretty well exactly the same.
Yeah, well, it's only the sports mode is only
Taking
changing the gear change,
Yes, it keeps the revs a bit longer.
Yeah. And
which
keeps
is
it,
what you need around the east coast of Australia.
and certainly on downhills it holds it nicely. too.
Downhills is great.
Yeah.
You put your foot on the brake with the Ranger, and it holds back. It's brilliant. So
All right.
Northern Territory tomorrow.
Yep,
There we go.
we're not in a rush, are we?
No.
No.
Love you all.
All right.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.